FInnovate Startup Recap, Innovation in Banking, and a question for the community on this highly caffeinated version of the Burst. Hey everybody, welcome to the 15th episode of the Banktastic Burst. The Burst is a show that talks about all things innovative in banking. Obviously I'm pretty amped up, as you could see from the beginning of the video, because I needed something today to counteract the muscle relaxers that I was having. Got a little tweak on the jaw, so the dentist suggested some muscle relaxers, but I was crashing earlier, but Triple Shot Espresso changes things. So feeling pretty good right now, and I want to talk to you guys about a few things that came across in the last week. As you guys have probably already seen from my other videos, we were at FInnovate Startup last week in San Francisco. The event went unbelievably well. We got some really cool videos and met some really nice people, connected through some people that we finally met on Twitter. Just in the last week, I was looking at the views just before the show, and we actually have over 9,000 views of just the stuff that we did from last week. Which is pretty crazy to think about. So we're definitely excited about being able to get those videos out, and people are obviously accepting them. So really good coverage, and I really feel like we were kind of on the forefront about being able to release that stuff really quickly. So by being quick and being able to give you content, more people come to you, and I thought our coverage was a success. So one of the things that I want to talk to you guys about is an article that came through Banktastic last week on innovation, and the actual title is called "Innovation: The Growth Accelerator." And I don't want to give you everything away on the article because I thought it was a really good read. It came from BAI, which BAI, do you know what BAI stands for? Yeah, me neither. I don't know what BAI stands for, but anyway, so they were talking about 6 innovative characteristics. And I just want to give you a couple of them, and then I want to add one that I don't think that probably should have been included in my opinion. One of them is talking about, so the article is essentially about how can we create an innovative environment in the banking world. And I think this is something that is, we've been talking about the past couple of weeks, but one of the things that it suggests is to actually include or ensure that you have world-class senior leadership that drives innovation. This is kind of a no-brainer. I unfortunately think there's a lot of people that are in senior leadership that don't necessarily care or understand or maybe even fear kind of stepping outside of the norm. So finding people like that to actually drive innovation in your institution is going to be pivotal for this thing to be successful. The second one, which I think is a subtle concept, but I think it's something that is very important, is it says processes that provide discipline to innovation. And basically, everyone can talk all day about being innovative, but if they don't make it a priority in their organization to ensure that it's always ongoing and something we're always working and striving for, it's just going to fall through the cracks and not get done because people are really busy and they have 100 other hats. Oh, I could so feel this caffeine. 100 other hats that they're actually wearing. So you've got to provide that discipline to ensure that innovation is always occurring. Now, one of the ones that I wanted to actually add is learn to embrace compliance security instead of fearing it. And this is something that we've talked about in the past. And basically, I think you can be an innovative institution if you assume, okay, we do have compliance hurdles that we have to adhere to, but as long as we're thinking about that along the process of coming up with these new and great ideas, then we'll be okay. So it's something that the article didn't stress, but I think it's something that's definitely important. So I thought the article, again, is really excellent. Go out and check it out, and Lisa will actually link it up in the show notes here so we can go back to it and you guys can review it. And the last thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about today was some features that Banktastic actually added. One is that we're pretty excited about, I know Lisa definitely is the private messaging system that we incorporated. So there was a way that you can communicate through Banktastic, but generally there wasn't any way to do it kind of privately. So we allowed the ability to actually send little snippet messages. We didn't want to necessarily have it be an email replacement or anything to one another inside the system. So we've implemented that recently, but a question's kind of come up, and what's interesting is when we come up with ideas for Banktastic, what I've noticed is that a lot of our issues on things to implement have to do with the communication or the sociology side issues of the system. So very much like, how do we, make the users feel better, or like we always say, how do we make them feel like rock stars? And one of the questions that came up on the messaging side is, do we really want the ability for someone to message you that is not your friend? The way it is today, you have to be friends to be able to message. But we're wondering if there might be a need for you to message someone that's not currently your friend. We've debated back and forth now for a while on what's the best way, but again, you guys use the system. We want to do what you guys want. The debates kind of side one way or the other. We want to be able to contact somebody to make that sort of initiation, that sort of handshake, if you will, to be able to introduce themselves. So from the other side, it's also, are we kind of getting too spammy possibly? Do we want to kind of be unobtrusive, or is it going to be too obtrusive if we do something like that? I can actually see both sides of the arguments, but I want to definitely, ask you guys, what do you think? So in the post down below, please come in and comment and let us know what you're thinking, because we want to build this feature to the likes that you want, and not necessarily, sometimes we get invested in our own ideas and don't really look at it objectively. So let us know what you're thinking. So I guess, that's pretty much the show today. I mean, we've gone through pretty quickly, and I'm pretty sure that in the next like 5 or 10 minutes, I'm probably just going to be completely passed out on the floor after crashing on this caffeine, but right now, I'm feeling pretty good. So this has been another episode of The Burst. We're changing the wow.
Industry.
Thank you. This has been another episode of The Burst. We're changing the industry one little day at a time, one little coffee cup at a time, and you can bank on it. We'll see you later, guys.